Hello and welcome back to the Unbearable Reds. I'm your host Carl, and today we're going to be taking a look at Naby Keita, a player who officially joined the club at the start of last season for 54 million from RB Leipzig. Substantial fee, and as things stand, he has not shown great value for it. Given his substantial fee that he arrived for, there have been a few factors that have played into his subpar start to his Liverpool career, and we will be going into them in depth later in the video. So let's have a look at the player himself and see what we have bought and what we are actually yet to see from him. So Naby started his career in France at Istres before moving to RB Salzburg and then on to RB Leipzig before joining the mighty Reds. Stayed at the Red Bull clubs for a total of 4 years, 2 years at Salzburg, 2 years at Leipzig, and he earned himself a good reputation during these years and drew the eye of many of the top teams in Europe. That includes the likes of Barcelona, Man City and Bayern Munich. Now, when it was announced that Liverpool had purchased Naby Keita, it seemed to be bolted on like he was moving to Barcelona. The fact that we were able to pull this off was seen as a major coup for Jurgen Klopp at the time. Now, during his time at Salzburg, it's when you started to see the real Naby Keita start blooming. He played 59 games for the club, scored 17 goals over 2 seasons, which is a good return considering that for the majority of that time, he was played as a defensive midfielder. And this image of Naby Keita as like a ball progressing defensive midfielder is one that stuck with him through his time at Leipzig, and even to a certain degree when he first started his Liverpool career as well. And that was until obviously Fabinho bloomed into the player that he was, which was genuinely a world-class defensive midfielder with ball progression ability, and that's now changed how people see Naby Keita as a Liverpool player. So then after his time at Salzburg, he moves to Leipzig. Seems to be a well-trodden path at the moment. Play for Salzburg, do well. You get a bump up to the Bundesliga with Leipzig and then on from there. And he puts up very similar numbers during his time at Leipzig. He played 58 games for Leipzig, scoring 14 goals. So, as I say, he's taken that step up from the Austrian league to the Bundesliga, and he just carries on performing at exactly the same level, scoring pretty much the same amount of goals, putting in the same level of performance, but against better teams in a better league. And during his time at Leipzig is when you also see him playing less of a defensive midfielder and moving more into the role that we've seen him in mostly at Liverpool, which is as a creative attacking midfielder. At Leipzig, he was linking up with their attacking players, Yusuf Poulsen and Timo Werner. A bit too soon to mention Timo. Needed to be in the video, sorry. So the player that arrives at Liverpool at the start of last season has a reputation as a ball progressing defensive midfielder and can also play and score as a creative attacker midfielder, interlinking with our already formidable attack. And it started really well for him, putting a few good performances in his first couple of games, particularly in that very first game against West Ham. He looked like a genuine world-class player. Not long after that, he picked up an injury on international duty with Guinea. Also, if you can leave in the comment down below the only other player from Guinea to play for Liverpool, and I'll give you a heart if you can tell me the other Guinean player to play for Liverpool. Fantastic player. Not really, he was shite. And these injuries became pretty much his Liverpool story so far. Multiple times over the past season and, well, 2 seasons effectively now. He's been injured, come back, not looked great, looked off the pace in the first couple of appearances he's made. Then he started to kick on, start putting in good performances, start getting back to the player that we know he has the ability to be, and injured again. And it's just that process over 5 or 6 weeks, just repeating itself constantly throughout the season, and it's really affected his, personally, I think it's affected his position in the pecking order of the Liverpool midfield. We have our preferred midfield three of Fabinho, Gini and Henderson, and he doesn't look like he's ever going to be breaking that at the moment. Not saying he's never going to do it, but at the moment with his consistent injuries, it doesn't look likely. And I'd also say he's probably fallen behind Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain as the preferred rotation or substitute option for that midfield. Everything I've said so far about his Liverpool career has been quite negative. He's actually a player that I really like. I enjoyed watching him when he was at Leipzig, particularly a couple of games I saw him play in the Europa League before he came to us. And the few times I saw him play in the Bundesliga as well, I was genuinely excited that this was a player that was going to be joining our club. And I am looking forward to seeing him kick on and establish himself as a key player in our team for a number of years to come. In order to do that though, he does need to stay fit. We all know that he has the talent to be a really important player for Liverpool. He just needs to get over those repeated injuries that he keeps having. Hello, so you've made it this far, you must be enjoying what you're seeing. If you are, please like, please subscribe, and leave a comment, maybe share it with your friends, who knows. Hopefully by the time you're watching this video, we've won the derby. If not, there's always next game. We are going to win the league, don't you worry. Don't get me wrong, to a certain extent, you can say that, well, it's not really his fault. Injuries happen, and no player really wants to be injured. Well, unless your name's Coutinho and you want to get out of games for Liverpool so you can sign from Barcelona. Besides that player, very few actually want to be injured. Do you know what I mean? So it's not really his fault in that sense. He's not going out and thinking, oh, do you know what? I'm going to pull my hamstring today. But at the same time, there does come a point where you've got to look at a player and think, we've invested a significant amount of money in transfer and wages for this player, and we are not getting near enough out of him that we should be for what we're putting into him. And that's why I think next season for Naby Keita is going to be so important in his Liverpool career, because if he carries on the way he has done so far, constantly getting injured, struggling to keep up with the pace of the game when he comes back from these injuries because he's not playing enough and not really contributing enough when he is playing in those limited spells, then I think it would be time for us to potentially cut our losses on the player and either replace him with somebody that is going to be fit for the season and is going to be able to contribute for the whole season, or even just give his place to a youth player, give his place to Curtis Jones. And that's a big if he carries on being injured. I've got every confidence that next season we're going to see a Naby Keita that's able to have got over his injury problems, come into the team and really establish himself at this club. Genuinely feel that he is going to... I'm going to channel me in at Arsene Wenger now and say he's basically going to be a new signing next season when we can depend on him for the whole season. And he can establish himself in that team. When it comes to his technical ability, his passing, his creative mind, what he can do interlinking with that front three that we have seen in flashes, I see no reason why he can't be in that team ahead of Gini. I see no reason why he can't. Obviously, it's not going to be every game he'd be in for Gini because we do like to rotate the midfield three. But if we were going to talk about our best midfield three, if he can get over his injury problems, he's definitely in that midfield three. So that's my take on Naby Keita and what I feel he needs to do in order to continue his Liverpool career. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And as always, up the Reds.